You got some prophecy that's the Lord is speaking of the Egyptians in the future, but this here, the verses we read, it's happened already because he talked about 40 years and all of that kind of stuff. You know, we ain't looking for that to happen, even though we are looking. Now, just to show you, now keep reading, keep reading. We was at 15 where he say, "It shall be the basis of kingdom." Go ahead.
It shall be the basis of kingdom, neither shall it exalt itself any more above the nations, for I will diminish them, that they shall no more rule over the nations.
So see, this is what the Lord did to you. That's why Egypt is not a superpower. It was the superpower back in the day. And the Lord crushed them. He crushed them when he brought Israel out of Egypt. But then Egypt, they picked up some more strength, and they got good again, so to speak. It was one of the players, even from the time when Nebuchadnezzar was taking Israel out. Egypt had got to be so strong, you know, got to be a major player again, that when Israel got in trouble with the Lord, they would run down to Egypt for help. Or they would call the Egyptians, you know. So we're going to read some of that just to show you. So even though they got crushed when the Lord brought Israel out of Egypt, they grew again into a decent-sized power, and the Lord is saying, here, I'm going to knock them down. I'm going to knock them down some more.
So this is early on, though, right?
Yeah, this is back in the day. This is from Ezekiel time, you know, on. It's prophecy from Ezekiel, so obviously it's beyond him.
Right.
But it ain't, you know, it's happened already. Right. It happened since then. Because he's going to mention some current stuff. Keep reading. We had Ezekiel 29 and what's your 16?
16. Mm-hmm.
Right.
And it shall be no more confidence of the house of Israel.
See, he said, it shall be no more the confidence of the house of Israel.
And I will give thee the opening of the mouth in the midst of them, and they shall know that I am the Lord.
See, and then a lot of this, like I said, sometimes the Lord be talking in one instant, and then he'll shoot all the way somewhere else. So he'll take it all the way to the end in an instant. But look at this example here. So he telling you, so the question going back to verse 29th chapter here in Ezekiel, and we read verses 10 through, the question was 10 through 14, is that future, has it happened? It's happened already. So that's the answer to that question. Right. But let's look at something else on it. Go to Isaiah 31, like I said. Isaiah 31. Now the Lord got some future prophecy for Egypt. He got plenty of future prophecy for Egypt. Because Egypt has always been in close proximity with Israel. So Isaiah 30:31 is what I said. This is what the Lord, this is why he said he gonna jam the Egyptians. 31:1, read it.
Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help, and stay on horses, and trust in chariots, because there are many, and horsemen.
He talking about the Israelites, because they would do that. The Lord, he sent in Nebuchadnezzar to bang them, and they like, we're going to go to Egypt. They was even telling Jeremiah that. They asked Jeremiah one time, should we go to Egypt? You know, seek the Lord for us and what we should do. And the Lord, Jeremiah said, okay, I'm going to seek the Lord. The Lord said, look, don't go to Egypt. Stay here. The Lord can work with you here. Yeah. And they came, but they wanted their answer. They didn't want to hear.
They was going to follow.
Yeah, they said, we're going to, whatever you say the Lord said, we're going to do it. That's how people are today. But they really want an answer that they want. So when they didn't get the answer they wanted, because they wanted to go to Egypt, they thought, they like, man, this messed up here. See, the Lord will put you on the hot seat just to get your attention. You ain't necessarily got to get up and run nowhere. Just wait it out, and then, you know, the Lord can establish. That's what he tells you. Don't go to Egypt. The Lord can straighten you out here. And they was like, we ain't listening to you, Jeremiah. You ain't telling us the truth. We going to do whatever come into our mind. But this is what Israel was good for. He said, woe to them that go down to Egypt for help and stay on horses and trust in chariots.
Because they are very strong. But they look not unto the Holy One of Israel.
Like we touched on last night. Go ahead.
Neither seek the Lord.
Go ahead.
Yet also is wise, and will bring evil. And I will not call back against the house of evildoers, and against the help of them that work iniquity. Now the Egyptians are men and not God.
See, he said, look, the Egyptians are men and not God. They can't help you against me. How you gonna go get some Egyptians when I'm the one jamming you? See, we look at men sometimes and think that men are doing something that the Lord is doing. They worried about the drama they catching in the land from men, and they seeking some other men for help, but everything go back to the Lord. You can't catch no drama unless the Lord bringing it. So that's who you got to seek. That's our problem to this day. We haven't been seeking the Lord. To this day, we haven't been doing it. So finish that.
Now the Egyptians are not God, and their horses are flesh and not spirit.
See, the Egyptians are men and not God, and their horses are flesh and not spirit. Go ahead.
When the Lord shall stretch out his hand, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that helpeth shall fall down.
He said,
and they all shall fail.
Well, when the Lord get mad at you, the one help you is going to fall, and the one who getting some help, they all going to fall together. So now, we can read some more, but I'm going to move on to another question, because I was going to read, you read that on your own.
You got one here.
Yeah, I'm looking too.
You looking at it? Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. But I was going to say, I was going to read, you can read, y'all can do some homework and read Daniel 11, toward the end of the chapter, start around verse 31, and you'll see him referring to Egypt, where he refers to Egypt in there. Now that's something future, because he's talking about what the man of sin is going to do in these last days, how he going to bump Egypt off. And Egypt that went through great transition, like it's even in the scriptures, because right now the Egyptians are not ruling Egypt, right now. And that's in scripture. You read, I think it's Isaiah 19, where the Lord was talking about, you know, he was going to turn Egypt over to the hand of a cruel Lord. And they was going to take it over. And the Arabs right now rule Egypt. They not the real Egyptians. The real Egyptians are for the most part known as Nubians. And they still around, but they just not, they Hamites. And the Arabs are not Hamites. Arabs are Semitic. So, but all that's another lesson. Look at this right here. Well, let's look. Next question comes out of James 3:1. That's what you got? That's the next one you see?
I'm on YouTube.
Oh, you're on YouTube? Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, let me take this one. Okay. This sister Sharon, Happy Sabbath, sister. My question comes out of James 3:1. Then we're going to go to YouTube after that.
Okay.
What does he mean by many masters? Okay, James 3:1. Good question. James 3:1. James 3:1. Go ahead, read it.
My brethren, be not many masters, knowing that we shall receive the greater condemnation.
Mm-hmm.
For in many things we offend all.
Mm-hmm.
If any man offend not in words, the same as a perfect man, and able also to bridle the whole body.
Mm-hmm.
But we put bits in the horse's mouth, that they may obey us,
Mm-hmm.
and we turn about their whole body. Behold, also the ships, which though they be so great, are driven of fierce wind, yet are they turned about with a very small helm, and whatsoever their governor listeth.
Okay, so that's good. So basically, the question comes from verse 1. My brethren, be not many masters, knowing that we shall receive the greater condemnation. So yeah, so what he dealing with? Because you know it's a saying too that it's too many. It's too many chiefs and not enough what? Indian. Not enough Indians, right? So that's a saying, and so everybody, you know, a lot of people. I can't say everybody, you know, everything's relative, but a lot of people, you know, especially we talking about men, you know, they want to be in charge. Right. They want to be the boss. Everybody want to be the boss. Everybody want to run it. So he's telling them that's not even, you know, what you shooting for.
Right.
That's not even necessary, you know. So he said, my brethren, because again, he ain't talking to one person. You know, he talking to a whole group of people. You know, so he wrote this letter to the 12 tribes scattered abroad.
That's
so he
right.
said, my brethren, be not many masters, knowing that we shall receive the greater condemnation. In other words, you know, everybody don't need to be trying to be the head of the leader. Everybody don't need that. And that's what happened a lot of times. That's what happened. Everybody, you know, think that it's some glory in that. And that's why he said, knowing that we shall receive the greater condemnation, because if you put yourself in a position, because many people do, they put themselves in a position to be a leader, and then now they responsible and they not ready to be a leader. You know, so this is what he warning you. You know, don't be trying to be the head, because if you the one supposed to be in charge, you're gonna receive a greater condemnation. Now, give you an example on that, some backup. Let's go to Romans 2, I believe. Romans 2. Yeah, exactly. Good. Number 16, exactly. That's a good example. But they, you know, but the thing about them is, which was real bad, they already was leaders. They just wanted to be top dog. Yeah, they wanted to be top dog. They wanted to knock Moses off. So, Numbers, what's it?
Romans.
Yeah, Romans 2. Romans 2, and let's get to it. Let's see. What's this? I think it's
around 18.
Let's see. Yeah, that's kind of it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we start there. Let's start at verse. Start at verse 17.
Okay.
So he's talking to the Israelites again, who was kind of being critical to the Gentiles. But go ahead. Romans 2 and 17.
Behold, thou art called a Jew, and retested in the law, and makest thy boast of God.
So he said, behold, thou art called a Jew. Now you supposed to know about God, because you know the Jews was the people of God and got the word of God. He tell you in this next chapter, the third chapter, what advantage they have to do. The Jews do have an advantage, because they got the word of God. He said, chiefly, what evangelists do and what prophets their circumcision, he said, much every way, chiefly because that unto them were committed the oracles of God. They got the word of God. So what responsibility even come with that? That's why we suffering more than anybody right now. Because we masters when it comes to the word of God. Israel as a whole compared to other people. That don't mean everybody in Israel is supposed to be a priest, but Israel as a whole is the nation priest. Behold, thou art called a Jew, and restest in the law, and makest thy boast of God, 18.
And knowest his will.
And you know his will.
And approvest things that are excellent.
And approves the things that are more excellent. Go ahead.
Being instructed out of the law.
Being instructed out of the law, 19.
And are confident that thou thyself art a guide of the blind.
And you confident that you a master. That's what James was really saying. You confident you a guide of the blind. Go ahead.
A light of them which are in darkness. An instructor of the foolishness. A teacher of babes. Which has the form of knowledge and of the truth in the law.
Go ahead.
Thou therefore which teachest another, teachest thou not thyself?
He said, okay, now you supposed to be a teacher. You a guide to the blind. You supposed to be in charge. He said, look, you teach, so you got more responsibility. He like, thou therefore that teachest another, teachest not thyself. That's a question. How you teaching somebody else and you not teaching yourself? Go ahead.
Thou that preachest a man should not steal. Dost thou steal?
Go ahead.
Thou that sayest a man should not commit adultery. Dost thou commit adultery? Thou that abhorrest idols. Dost thou commit sacrilege? Thou that makest thy boast of the law, though breakest the law, dishonorest thou God?
Through breaking the law, you dishonor, you make your boast of the law, and if you break the law, you dishonoring thou God. 24.
For the name of God is blasphemed among the Gentiles through you, as it is written.
Go ahead.
For circumcision verily profiteth.
See, he wasn't really doing away with circumcision either. And circumcision means more than just getting the skin cut. In some cases, it referred to the Israelites who were circumcised. Just like right here. He said, for circumcision verily profit. Being Israel means something if you keep the law. Go ahead.
But if thou be a breaker of the law, thou circumcision is made uncircumcised.
And he ain't talking about undoing the skin that you got cut. So he obviously talking about something else. You know, it don't matter. So that's an example of James 3 and 1 that he's talking about, you know, because everybody want to be, you know, the chief. Everybody want to be, you know, the one in charge. But he's saying, look, that's not the goal, because even, you know, more responsibility come with that. That's all it is. That's why I tell people out there, ain't nothing but some work. You know, if you're ready to work, fine. Nothing wrong with it. It's a good job if you're ready to work. But it's not about trying to be, you know, somebody and playing Lord over someone. Let's read that right quick. 1 Peter 5. 1 Peter 5. Because that's the thing people would do, end up playing Lord. And that means you're not really operating correctly in that job description. 5 and 1. Go ahead.
The elders which are among you I exhort, who I am also an elder, and a witness of the suffering of Christ, and also partakers of the glory that shall be revealed. Feed the flock of God which is among you.
Go ahead.
Take the oversight thereof, not by constraint, but willingly, not for filthy lucre's sake, but of a ready mind.
See, you're not doing it for money. You're not doing it. Nobody twisted your arm. You're doing it because you've been prepared to do it. Verse 3.
Neither as being lords over God's heritage.
Neither as being lords over God's heritage. So you're not playing Lord, but what?
But being examples to the flock.
And when what?
And when the chief shepherd shall appear, you shall receive a crown of glory that fadeth not away. Likewise, ye younger, submit yourselves unto the elders. Yea, all of you be subject one to another, and be clothed with humility.
Okay, that's good. So that's the answer to that. Hopefully that took care of that for Sister Sharon, and we're going to move on to something on YouTube.
Say, am I allowed to defend myself physically if someone is beating me hard?
Yeah, you're allowed to defend yourself physically if someone beating them, not just a little bit, huh?
Is it hard?
Beating them hard. Okay. That's a good question. These are good questions. So let's look at
That's eager, raw, eager, R, eager.
eager. Okay. Let's look at something Jesus said first, and then we're gonna look at something else. Matthew 5. Matthew 5. And this goes to show you, this is one of them things, it's a time for everything. It's a time for everything. So somebody might read this, and this is not, don't run off on this when I read this scripture, because this is not really going to answer the question. I'm just going to show you how you can kind of take things out of context a little bit. Matthew 5 and 38. Matthew 5 and 38.
You have heard that it hath been said, an eye for an eye, and a tooth for a tooth. Mm-hmm. But I say unto you, that you resist not evil, but whosoever shall smite thee on the right cheek, turn to him the other also.
Okay, so look. So now, this is, we could try to apply that to that question that they asked, but they said a little different now. They said, they beat me, and they specified, beating me hard. So, but look what he said here. He said, ye have heard that it had been said, an eye for an eye, and tooth for a tooth. But now, first of all, when you understand an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, it was a system. It was really a legal system. So it wasn't this brother put my eye out and I turned around, he hit me in the eye, and I turned around and hit him back in the eye. That's not what he was even talking about. Right. They literally had a system that called for just judgment. Right. So if you made something happen to somebody, the judge would come along and say, okay, well, that's going to happen to you. So that's what the system called for. It's not even a person taking vengeance and doing that. So people don't understand that quite as it is. It wasn't like you just went and cracked somebody in the eye. They even had a thing where if you kill somebody accidentally, they allowed you to flee, like manslaughter. They allowed you to flee somewhere. But anyway, you heard it had been said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But I say unto you that you resist not evil, for whosoever shall smite thee on the right cheek and turn to him the other also. So Jesus is saying, don't resist evil, but even that has its limitations, because basically he's not talking about, really not saying here that you getting beat bad. He's not even talking about that, but he is talking about, he says somebody smites you on the cheek, and sometimes we can be in altercations. Even just words will make people want to fight. Mm-hmm. Or we could be in altercations where nobody is really, doing you harm. For instance, Paul got arrested, and this exact thing happened to him. He got slapped on the face, and we can read that. It's in Acts. So, he was arrested anyway, so, he wasn't going to be able to do too much. They had him, basically what we would say, they had him in handcuffs. So, but the high priest commanded him to be slapped on the face. But Paul didn't, he didn't rap, he didn't do nothing, because in that case, he wasn't in no danger. Right. He wasn't about to get killed, even though they wanted to kill him. It was just the moment the dude slapped him, and it's like, now you got a chance, you got an opportunity to respond. And like I said, I know people that even if they had been in handcuffs, and Paul did say something, by the way. Paul, he clapped back. He just didn't try to get up and do nothing to, curse nobody out, because again, he is serving a God. But he did say, God gonna smite you. That's what he told the guy. He said, God is gonna smite you, you whited wall, So we'll read that just to show you in a second. That's in Acts. So that's the whole gist of it. The Lord is letting you know that it's instances where you're not in harm. You're not getting, like the question was, you're not getting beat bad. You just insulted, really. You insulted, and the nature, the flesh would automatically want to clap back, want to respond. Like I had a lot of respect. You know, I used to kind of talk. When I was new in the word, I used to talk bad about uh, Martin Luther King. I used to talk bad. Oh, you're a false prophet. You know. Yeah, and I look at things. I was like, man, that dude was something else. You know. And everybody's job is not so much preaching all the time that the Lord used. That's what you have to understand. Samson was a servant of God. Samson wasn't preaching to nobody. Right. Samson was a killer for God. That was his job. So everybody could have their job. But my point with looking at what Martin Luther King did, that dude did some stuff. I'd be like, I don't know if I could do it. Because I'm talking about dude come up, pow, slapped him, and he just looked at him. I'm like, dude, that was something else. Because the flesh automatically going to be trying to retaliate. But he had that discipline like this. Look at that dude. Dude just slapped him across his face. I'm like, that was some stuff right there. But in that same instance, he wasn't in no danger. He wasn't in no danger. He wasn't about to do nothing else. It's like, I'm just going to show you what you doing over there. Bow! Right. Slapped him. So, this is the kind of stuff he's dealing with. Now, on the other hand, the Lord really, people in the Bible give you examples of defending themselves. So let's look at, before we get to that, let's look at the one in Acts. Acts, it might be 13. Let me find it. No, it's a little later than 13. Hold on. Go to 20-something, and I'm going to find it for you. Acts 23. Acts 23 and verse 1. Acts 23. See, I had a lot more respect for Martin Luther King when I seen some of them tapes like that and saw the dude get slapped. Saw him get slapped like that, and he just didn't try to retaliate, just looked at the dude. Acts 23 and 1. Go ahead.
And Paul earnestly, behold the council, said, Men and brethren, I have lived in all good conscience before God until this day. And the high priest Ananias commanded them that they stood by him to smite him on the mouth.
Now the high priest did it. Go ahead. And watch how Paul responded to all of this. Show you the humility still that he had. The high priest said, he commanded them. They got him in judgment. Now he kind of get a chance to defend himself. So he's speaking. He said, men and brethren, I have lived in, he just getting going with his little speech. I have lived in all good conscience before God unto this day. And before he can get going, the high priest Ananias commanded them that stood by him to smite him on the face. So he gave the signal, slap that dude. Right. Go ahead.
Then said Paul unto him, God shall smite thee, thou whited wall.
He said, God gonna smite you, you whited wall. But he still didn't try to get up and do nothing. He didn't curse his mama out. Right. He didn't say nothing crazy. He just said, look, God gonna deal with this. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But it show you ain't just, you ain't just finna take a slap and you can't even respond. Go ahead.
For sittest thou to judge me after the law, and commandest me to be smitten contrary to the law?
Go ahead.
And they that stood by said, Revilest thou God, high priest?
See, Paul didn't know he was a high priest, so the people stood by, you talking to the high priest like that? And notice Paul humbled himself. Now this dude just been slapped. The average person, I don't care who he is. They would have still been ready to snap.
Right.
Okay, you tell me no high priest, because if you wrong, you wrong. But notice the humility of a servant of God. Go ahead.
Then said Paul, I wish not, brethren, that he was high priest.
He said, I knew not. That's what wish means. I didn't know he was a high priest. My bad. Go ahead.
For it is written, thou shalt not speak evil of the ruler of thy people.
See, he's still trying to live according to the book. Even though he just been slapped.
Right.
He's still concerned with living according to the Bible. So he said, I didn't know he was a high priest. That's my bad. Because it's written, thou shalt not speak evil of the ruler of thy people. But now let's go back to, let me see, Matthew. This is Matthew. 1 second. Um, look at Matthew 26 right quick. Because what I'm saying, too, it's a time for everything. Matthew 26. And, but this is what the Lord tell you. Hold on one second. I want to throw something else in here before we read that. It's in Matthew. We're going to read Matthew 26. I want to show you something else. Uh, do, 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 do. Well, look at Matthew 26. We'll read this one first. I wanted to try to get this other one. Yeah, Matthew 26. Look at Matthew 10. Matthew 10 first. This is what I'm looking for, I think. Pick it up at verse. Pick it up at verse when he sent them out preaching. Because we always read this to show who he sent them to. Start at verse 5. Yeah. Who he sent them to preach to. But I want to hit another angle here. Matthew 10 and 5. Go ahead, read it.
These 12 Jesus sent forth and commanded them, saying, Go not out of the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritan enter ye not, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
So that's what most people don't know, the significance of the lost sheep. How Jesus himself, people think that he just, started a new religion. Jesus was on a mission for only the lost sheep. So that lets you know right there, that's simple, that the church is built on Israel. That's what that lets you know. The church is built on Israel. But go ahead.
And as you go, preach, saying, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out devils. Freely ye have received free gifts. Freely give. Provide neither gold, nor silver, nor brass in your purses, nor scrip for your journey.
Now, notice what he said. He sent them out to preach. He said, you going on this thing. He said, look, don't provide no script. You ain't even got to really, he letting them know they ain't even got to worry about nothing. He said, don't provide no script for your journey, neither two coats, neither what?
He said, neither two coats, neither shoes, nor staves, for a workman is worthy of his meat.
So he said, a workman is worthy of his meat, which means where you go, they going to take care of you.
Right.
I'm going to make sure they take care of you, so don't even worry about having that stuff. I'm going to look out for you in this instance. One more verse, 11.
And in whatsoever city or town ye enter, inquire who in it is worthy, and there abide till you go hence.
Okay, that's good. Now go to, we're going to come back to Matthew 26. Go to Luke 23. Luke 23, run it down a little bit. Luke 23. Luke 23 and this is when Luke 22, my bad. Luke 22, start around verse 30. Start at verse 28. Go ahead and read it.
Ye are they which have continued with me in my temptation. And I appointed unto you a kingdom, as my Father hath appointed unto me, that ye may eat and drink at my table in my kingdom, and sit on thrones judging the 12 tribes of Israel. And the Lord said, Simon, Simon, behold, Satan hath desired to have you, that he may sift you as wheat.
Satan be on us. He be trying to get some people. Go ahead.
But I prayed for thee, that thy faith fail not.
He said, I prayed. That's all Jesus said he did. He didn't make Satan disappear, didn't make Peter automatically strong. I prayed that your faith fail not. Keep reading.
And when thou art converted, strengthen thy brethren.
And that means Peter had to grow some. And once you grow, you can strengthen somebody else so they can grow. Go ahead.
And he said unto him, Lord, I am ready to go with thee, both into prison and to death.
Sometimes people think they ready for stuff they not ready for, but still, go ahead.
And he said, I tell thee, Peter, the cock shall not crow this day before thou shalt thrice deny that thou knowest
That's
me.
right. He said, look, you going to get opportunity. See, sometimes you be asking the Lord or saying what you would do, the Lord going to give you that opportunity, and you're not going to be ready for it. Keep reading.
He said unto them, when I sent you without purse and scrip and shoe, lack ye anything?
See, now he backed up. He said, look, and the point here is, it's always a time for everything, brothers and sisters. So even when it comes time, I know the question will go way back to, somebody beat me hard, what should I do?
Right.
Can I defend myself? It's a time for everything. So we read about turn the other cheek, right. So it's a time to turn the other cheek, but I'm going to tell you, it's a time to defend yourself.
Right.
It's a time to defend yourself. So go ahead.
And he said nothing.
And so first of all, it was a time where Jesus said, look, y'all going out there to preach, don't take nothing. You're going to be prepared to workman is worthy of his meat. In other words, Jesus like, I'm here with you. I'm going to make sure it's happening. You ain't even got to worry about it.
Right.
Now he is telling them, remember when I told you that?
Right.
But he going to flip it because it's another time coming now.
Right.
It's a different order of the day.
Right.
That show you the Lord have you adjust with the times, not his word, but as far as how it's time for you to handle different situations.
Right.
The Bible say it's a time for everything.
Yeah, it do.
So this is what he said. He said, look, after he got through with Peter, he said, when I sent you without purse, scrip, shoes, lack ye anything? Did you lack anything? And what did they say?
And they said nothing.
They said nothing, Lord. We was good. Go ahead.
Then said he unto him, but now he that have a purse, let him take it.
He said, but now it's a new order. I mean you some new marching orders. Now, because I'm getting ready to leave, in other words, Jesus knew he was about to die. He died. He got crucified in the next chapter.
Right.
He like, look, now I'm going to tell you, it's rough out here.
Right.
So you don't got no purse, let him take it.
And likewise his scrip.
And
he that have no sword, let him sell his garment and buy one.
And he that have no sword, and he ain't talking about no Bibles in this case. Bibles can be sword. Right. But Jesus said, he that have no sword, let him sell his garment and buy one. It's rough out here. So, hey, that means he ain't telling you about no sword and you can't defend yourself and use it, right?
Right.
He said, he that have no sword, let him, and he talking to preachers going out there preach.
Right.
He said, let him sell his garment and buy one. Go ahead.
For I say unto you that this is that is written, that must ye be accomplished in me, and was reckoned among the transgressors. For these things concerning me have an end.
See, he getting ready to go. He said, I'm telling you, I'm getting ready to get up out of here. Right. And it's going to be back to business as usual for Satan. So you're going to face different situations. Right. Just be prepared. He said, because I'm telling you, it's written about me that I was reckoned with he said he was reckoned with the transgressor, which he was, died with 2 thieves, and for the things concerning me having end. He was getting ready to die. But notice what happened, 38.
And they said, Lord, behold, here are 2 swords.
Well, they already had swords. They already was packing swords, anyway, because, that's the way it was. It's just like people got guns all over the place. That's the way it is. So they said, oh, Lord, you swords. Here go 2 swords right here. Go ahead.
He said unto them, it is enough.
It is enough. See, he didn't want no swords right now. It wasn't time for that. Right. He's just telling them, y'all going to need him. Because he knew he had to die.
Right.
So he wasn't going to fight. Now let's go to Matthew 26 and show you because he knew it was time for him to die. And you could be in that situation. So it's one thing you say with somebody beating you bad and you defend yourself, if you can do that. But now